Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, and I'll tell you how I lost $20,000. Let's get into it. What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalechi back with another video. If this is your first time around these parts, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy anything that we talk about on this video, hit that like button. Turn that thing, say it with me now, blue. But anyway, in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about some of my worst life decisions. Don't be like me, boys and girls. If you're listening to this and you're younger than me or you're older than me, don't make the mistakes that I made, because I was dumb. I was so dumb. But this story in particular is gonna focus on how I got into $20,000 of debt, of consumer debt. The worst kind of debt you can get yourself into. So let's start talking about it. You see, graduating from college, I started off with no student loan. I mean, I was debt free. I was starting off on the best of foot. Shout out to my parents, shout out to scholarships, and most importantly, thank you God, because he's the only way that I was able to get through school with different jobs that I had, co-ops that I had, and it helped me through the entire time that I was in school. So I started off my career. First of all, I also had a job right after I got out of college. right on the dot. I got a job even before I graduated from college. So I was set. I was literally set to start my life with this trajectory. We're going higher and higher and higher. And instead of doing that, what did I do? I started doing all the dumb stuff that people who get a little bit of money in the pocket start to do. First of all, the first mistake that I made when I first got out of college, I got a 2-bedroom apartment for one me. A 2-bedroom apartment with 2 bathrooms. And your question is, did you have somebody living with you? No, it was just me. And the question is like, why? I can't even tell you, like, it don't make no sense. So instead of paying like $600, because also where I was living at that point in time was a really rural town for work, the cost of living was literally nothing, And so instead of me paying like $500, $600 for rent for a 1-bedroom, I was like, nah, I got the money. I'm gonna pay $800. I'm gonna pay $900. I'm gonna get fancy town and pay more money than I need to be paying for rent. Like, oh my gosh, that was so dumb. But even then, that's not even the worst thing, because $800 versus what I was actually making, it wasn't really that. It was like a drop in a bucket. It wasn't that much money. I mean, yes, it was the most expensive thing that I was paid, but it was a drop in the bucket. But still, making the decision, that just tells you where my mindset was at that point in time. I didn't just get what I needed, I got more than what I needed, and just tells you exactly where I was at that point in time of the decision-making skills that I had in going with over-the-top things. The only thing that I'm so grateful to God for was I didn't go buy a new car. I didn't go try and ball out. I didn't go try and buy all this other fancy stuff. But on the other side, some of the decisions I was making was dumb. The Bible says that it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. It's the little driplets here and there. It's the little things that happen. I just did a little bit of that. I just did a little bit of that. Like I told y'all with the apartment, it's just, it's not that much. That's not that much. I can afford that. I can afford this. And it's all these little things that start to add up over time. And then one day you wake up and you're like, holy crap, how do I have $20,000 in credit card debt? How did this happen? Literally, it was small things like, oh yeah, I can definitely travel over there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna travel over there. And then the worst part about it is, I will go home, like, to see my family. And instead of just getting somebody from home to come pick me up from the airport, I'll be like, nah. I'll get a rental car. Why? Why are you getting a rental car? Uber is around. Why are you getting a rental car? And not just did I just get a rental car, I got a Mustang. I was like, nah, we doing it big this time around. Your boy done graduated. We doing it big up in these streets. I'm getting a Mustang. And on top of everything, because I was under 25 at the time, getting a rental car and one of the fancy rental cars cost you even more. So what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta show up. I'm coming home. I gotta show them how it is. I'm an engineer now. I'm making that money. We're trying to spend it up in here, And it's like, why? It's like, what are you doing? So you can see how these things start to add up. At first, it's just like, oh, you just get a rental car one time. You fly home more than you need to. You're just going from place to place. And at this time, I was also dating somebody and we're doing a long distance relationship. So I was always flying out to go see her. She was flying in to come see me. And we were just going back and forth. And it was like spending all that money. I was like, dog, what are you doing? It was just like the amount of places that I was spending extra money in was ridiculous. And plus, the worst part about it, I was putting it on my credit card and I wasn't paying my credit card off every single month. Now you guys know why I absolutely despise credit cards. I hate debt. I hate all of that stuff. Literally despise that thing because I felt like I was paying the credit card off, but every time that I opened my bank statement and every time I went on discover.com, it didn't seem like my principal was going down because all I was doing was paying the interest. I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't looking at it properly. And so every time I would pay something off, it's just like, oh yeah, you paid a little bit, but you didn't pay nearly enough. And it was just like getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And then finally one day, I remembered we had a service and our pastor was talking about being debt free and all this other stuff. And we started the Dave Ramsey program right as I was leaving church at that point in time and moving to where I was moving to. But I had all the Dave Ramsey stuff. I had it on my wall. I started diving back into it. And at this point, that thing had collected so much dust. I mean, you could wipe that thing off and your entire hand would just be dusty because I had let that thing sit for so long. Also during this period in time, I had been trying to start learning more about money and figuring money out. And I actually bought this book. I bought this book. It's called The Intelligent Investor, which is like the greatest investing book that there is. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I actually never read it. I actually just read it for the first time last year. And I bought this book back in 2016, if that tells you anything. But yeah, I bought that book so I could learn more about money. But first I had to get out of debt. I just started focusing on it. I started like paying attention to how much money I was spending every week. I started paying attention and doing my budget. I started tracking every single cent. As a matter of fact, y'all think I have so many checkbooks because this was the only way I could get my money in order, was to write it down every single time, was to write down what I was spending, was to write down what was about to be spent, was to do this every single time I swipe my card. This follows me basically everywhere and I'll write it down. And it's the only way that I'm able to keep track of my money. And then I started getting plugged into mint.com, started tracking my budget more and more and more often. And eventually, by the grace of God, in about 6 months after doing that, I was able to pay down all of my debts. But it took a lot of effort of me standing up and saying, enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I needed to do something better for myself. And so that's how I messed myself up and cost myself $20,000. If we do the opportunity cost of that $20,000 and we do 10% of that money, I don't want to do this, but 10% of that money over the last 5 years, that $20,000 would have been about $40,000 now. So yeah, especially because when I first started investing, the company that I invested in was Apple. So that $20,000 back in 2016, oh my God, that $20,000 would have become $80,000. Just think about that. That $20,000, since the point in which Apple has Forexed, that would have become $80,000. Don't be like me, boys and girls. Don't cost yourself $80,000 because you're dumb and you just want to show off. There's a time to show off. That time is not right now. We need to put in that work, invest our money, get our money to work for us, all right? Don't be like me. Be better than me. Improve upon the things that I've done. If you're younger than me, look, man, start investing as soon as you can. Stay away from consumer debt. Don't worry about looking flashy. Stay away from consumer debt. Start investing, man. Like, even if it's just $10 a month. The most important thing when it comes to investing is doing it over and over and over again. Consistency is everything, and getting that discipline to be doing it consistently. And once you get that down, I promise you, you're gonna surprise yourself. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I don't know why I'm still holding this. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. And if you did, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit that subscribe button. But I'm gonna catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all. And your boy is out of here. Peace. Whoosh.